I used to think you could sense it, the precise moment your life was about to shift. That there'd be a warning, a sudden shiver, a sharp twist in your chest. Something. But the night it all began, there was no thunderclap, no lightning bolt from the sky, just a soft knock at the back door, and the rain sliding down the gutter like a secret. And when I opened that door, I saw a man who was never supposed to be mine. And I let him in anyway. My name is Claire. I'm 39 years old, a wife for 12 years, a mother to a little girl who still slits folded notes into my lunchbox, each one decorated with doodles of hearts and crooked smiley faces. On the outside, I was the woman who never forgot birthdays, who baked cookies for school fundraisers, who could host a dinner party with a smile even when my seat ached from standing all day. I thought I knew who I was. A good wife, a good mother, a good person. But then there was Adam. Adam wasn't some stranger who appeared out of nowhere. He was my husband's friend, a man I'd known for years, close enough to share a beer at the kitchen table, far enough that I should never have let him close in the way I eventually did. He was divorced, 2 kids of his own, a quiet kind of charm that didn't demand attention, but somehow drew it anyway. He helped fix our kitchen sink once, stayed later than everyone else on game nights, and when he smiled at me, really smiled, it was different. It was as if he was looking past the noise, past the routine, past the version of me that had become invisible in my own home. And I let that look get under my skin. My husband, Paul, was asleep in the recliner upstairs. The TV was still glowing, the shadows shifting across the living room. I went downstairs to tidy after the dinner party. Adam followed. I never asked him to. I should have told him to leave, but I didn't. The basement wasn't unfinished. It was warm, carpeted, with a couch sagging slightly in the middle. I was crouched near the board games when I felt it. His presence behind me, close enough that his breath grazed the back of my neck. I froze, but I didn't move away. "Are you sure you want me to stop?" he asked. My mouth opened. Nothing came out. Then his fingers brushed my lower back, just barely, before pressing his palm there. Firm, steady, grounding. And I exhaled. Without even realizing, I gave permission. He turned me gently toward him, and something inside me cracked. A dam I hadn't even realized I'd built burst open. We moved to the couch. The cushions dipped beneath our weight. He didn't rush. Every touch was slow, deliberate, as if he wasn't just touching skin, but trying to carve his name into my memory. "I'm sorry, I can't help with that request." And then I looked up at the ceiling fan spinning lazily above us. That's when the guilt sliced through me. My husband, my life, was just upstairs. My body didn't care. It was alive in a way I hadn't felt in years. I had forgotten what it meant to be touched, not out of routine, but out of raw, desperate need. And when I whispered Adam's name, broken, desperate, it was the truest sound I'd made in years. When it was over, I sat on that couch alone, my legs trembling, my hands shaking. The air still heavy with what we'd done, and I felt everything at once. Shame, hunger, regret. And the worst part, the part that terrified me, was the satisfaction. Because I couldn't lie to myself, I had wanted it. Paul, my husband, is not a bad man. He works hard. He provides. He loves our daughter. But somewhere along the way, we stopped seeing each other. We became roommates with shared responsibilities. Partners in logistics, not lovers in a marriage. He'd sit beside me on the couch, laptop open, eyes barely lifting when I asked about his day. His hand hadn't reached for mine in years. And then there was Adam. Adam, who saw me folding towels in the laundry room with messy hair and no makeup, and looked at me like I was something more than invisible. And it terrified me how much I needed that. It wasn't the basement that ruined me. It was what came after. The silence, the pretending, the ache. Adam's texts weren't obvious, not flirty, not incriminating. They were casual, simple, but loaded. Pasta was better than the restaurant. Next time your husband forgets the thermostat, just call me. Every time, I replied, just enough to keep the door cracked open. One Sunday evening, Paul was helping his brother. Our daughter was at a sleepover. I was alone. I told Adam he still had my drill. He showed up 15 minutes later, empty-handed. We stood in the garage, surrounded by bins and holiday decorations. Tell me this is the last time, I whispered. I won't lie to you, he said. And then he was on me, his lips on my neck, his hands gripping my waist, my back pressed to the garage wall. His rhythm was slow, deep, the kind that doesn't just take you, the kind that undoes you. And I whispered things I shouldn't have even been thinking. When it ended, he held me like he wasn't sure he'd ever be allowed to again. Then he left, silent as the rain. That night, I stood under the shower until my skin turned red. But no matter how hard I scrubbed, the guilt wouldn't wash away. I told myself it was over. I lied. The next time he came over, it was for the fence. Paul had invited him, of course. I opened the door with barbecue sauce on my apron and regret in my stomach. When our shoulders brushed, I nearly dropped the plate I was holding. Later that night, I stared at Adam's last text. I hadn't replied, but I wanted to. Finally, I typed, "It wasn't just you," and pressed send. He didn't reply right away. The silence nearly destroyed me. The breaking point. 3 days later, I ran into him at the grocery store. We didn't speak. We didn't have to. His eyes said everything. That night, I curled up on the laundry room floor and cried. For the wife I used to be. For the mother I was supposed to be. For the woman who could once walk through her own house without feeling haunted by memory. I haven't seen Adam in 2 weeks now. I deleted his number. I tell myself it's over. But every time I pass the window, I look outside. Not because I expect to see him, but because I wonder what I would do if I did. And the scariest part? I don't know if I want to stop wanting him.